Welcome all, Boone here from EWPRO, getting straight into the weekly outlook, looking at the DXY and the daily. We're just looking at this last part here. We got a nice impulse up. I was looking for a correction here. It is coming down quite sharp, but I'm still looking for an A, a B, and a C at least. H4, we got the 5 up, and we're getting this larger correction. So we may get something like 1, 2, 3, get a wave 4 and a wave 5 down, and then larger correction and some more downside before we go up. But yeah, this has become quite deep. I was looking for a 50 fib retrace, and we got that. And but I'm not looking at all this as the correction. Like I just showed there, we can still get another wave down on the H4, like that 1, 2, 3, get a wave 4 and a wave 5 down. You possibly could get a buy out of this if I just quickly go down to the lower time frame. We're getting a nice impulse up here from a low. So if we get a break above that top, a nice correction in here, well, then we can look for a buy for at least 3 up. You'd have to be careful. You want to get it to break even because it may just be 3 up and then we may get more downside. So we really got to wait for this here. We've got to wait for that correction after this high is broken. At this stage, very risky to buy because at this stage we have a bear hidden there. So this may just fall down from here without even breaking that top. So we got to wait for that top to be broken and then a correction, and then we can start to look for an entry. AU, I was looking at this last week and looking at this as a possible extended wave here, like 1, 2, and we're still in this wave 3. There was that bull hidden here that I've been mentioning, and that has gone up and broken that top now. So I dare say we will start to get bearish divergence in here. Shouldn't be on this time frame, but we got an impulse up on the H4. The H1, we got the 5 up, and we're getting a little bit more actually. Yeah, so there's really not much to do here. We get that bearish divergence in that wave 5, and so I'd be more interested in a sell. Excuse me. So very similar to DXY, you know, if we get a break below here, a correction, well, then we can look for at least 3 down. It's more of a scalp than anything, but you never know. GU, we're looking for possibly more upside here. Looking at this A, a B, and we get a C up. Just waiting for an entry. H4, we got a nice impulse up from a low, so we just wait for this correction. Once we get that correction and it's complete, we look for an entry for at least a C up. They're all very similar. EU, we're looking for, well, we got an A, a B, and we're looking for a C up. This one's not as nice as GU because it didn't come from the low. Like this is the low here, and then we got a higher low there. So we're more in a wave 3 here, and you wait for a wave 4 and you trade a wave 5 up. So yeah, we wait for a wave 4 here, and then trade a wave 5 up. In the meantime, this may be the end of that wave 3. This one has broken the low here, so we may get a sell on it. Like we got a nice impulse from a top. It's broken this low here, so if we get any correction here, you can definitely look for a sell. See how far it goes. In new, we got that ABC up. Now we have this impulse down here. So I was looking for a correction in here. It's more of a buy on the lower time frames because we have this nice impulse from a low. So, like many of the others, we wait for a correction and then we look for at least 3 up. If we're lucky, it takes off and breaks the top. If you've been following me for a while, well, I wasn't liking this here. It was looking more corrective than anything. It was so choppy. So this may even go up and break the top, but at this stage, it's more of a sell on the lower time frame, just for like I just showed, like an a B, and a C down, and then we may get a buy for more upside. We'll have to wait and see, but at this stage, I'd be looking for a sell on the lower time frame. GY, we did have that ball hidden in here, and it has gone up and broken the top. Looking at that WX, all of this is a wave Y. I'll be waiting for that wave X2 and then trade that wave Z up on the daily. This went a little bit further than I thought. I'm looking for a correction here. Like I was looking for an A, B, and a C, and then we could look for that wave Z up on the daily. But this has turned more motive, like this one. Well, 1, 2, 3, get a wave 4, and we could get a wave 5 up here before we get the a B, and a C, a larger flat, before we get that wave Z up. So this one did go a little bit far. It went up to that 123.6, as you can see there. It's going to be a bit harder to sell this one. The GY, it's already gone. There's a sell there on the lower time frames. It's more on the lower time frames, this. If I zoom in a little bit so you can see it a little bit better, but this was the top here, and we got that impulse down. We got a correction, and it's gone. So now you got to wait for a wave 4, and you could trade a wave 5 down. So you're looking for a correction a similar size to this over here to sell. UI, I mean, this has been untradeable for quite a while now, sitting up the top here. We got the 5 up in here in this B wave. So you can see the arrows. I'm looking for an A, B, C, A, B, C, and then A, B, C. So this could turn quite complex as it's looking. This is still very much bullish. There is a lot of bearish divergence here, but it hadn't given us a nice sell setup. That's been the problem. Like if you just go back through what I've been going over, for the last few weeks, well, that's the top there. We got an impulse down, but we had that ball hidden. We got a very deep correction to this wave, and then we got 3 down. So this is more corrective. So Yeah, there's nothing motive about this downside here, so I'm more, I'd be looking for a buy, but at this stage, there is no buy set up. Um, you know, there's nothing there. What I'd be looking for, and it's very risky because we're right up the top of the market too, but I'd be looking for a nice impulse up breaking this top and then giving us a correction, and then you could look for three up. Other than that, you're going down to the lower time frames, and there's probably a bear hidden in here, and all sorts of stuff. So, well, if we go down to the M5 quickly, well, you can see there's a bear hidden here. So you need at least this top here to be broken to take out that possible bear hidden. Other than that, you could, if you got a nice impulse down and a sell setup, well, you could sell to go and break the low. Um, excuse me. Again, it's more scalping. We're right down onto the lower time frames. So, but yeah, if you want to learn all that, you really got to join the group. So I can teach you properly how to do it. You know, using all the divergences and everything else we use. CAD, this turn, well, we got the Z down, and on the lower time frame, we had that three up here. We had that 1, 2, 3. Got to the second target, that 161.8. Problem now is we were looking for a wave four and then trade a wave five up. As you probably noticed already, this here has gone into the territory of this wave two. So it's starting to be risky. Like, I didn't really want to see it. Well, I mentioned it last week. I don't want to see this go, this correction go into that wave two, or else makes it very risky to trade a wave five up. It's not following the Elliott wave rules. At this stage, I would leave it. Unless you're going right down onto the lower time frame scalping, because more than likely we'll get another one down here, some sort of a 1, 2, 3. You get a wave four and a wave five down. But yeah, I mean, I would be leaving this one at this stage. I'll just quickly go down to the M15. But yeah, we're getting all the bullish divergence, but there's no bullish setup on it. That's the problem. Yeah, and I can't really go into how, when I speak of a bullish setup in that scenario there, how I determine that. I can't really go into it on these YouTube videos. The Swissy, we got a nice impulse up in here. Well, it wasn't a nice impulse. That was the problem. It was very choppy this way when we go down to the lower time frame. You'll see it's very choppy, but we did get an impulse up here. It did just go and break that top there. So I was looking for, if we get a correction in here, we could look for a three up or a C up, but it has come quite sharply down. You can see on the H4, while I was looking at this as very corrective here. I was looking for that 1, 2, 3, 4 and a fifth wave down. And this was looking good for a sell. It didn't give us a sell setup. That was a problem, but it's very choppy, so it's corrective. It looks very corrective. It went past the time factor that I was looking at. Um, and well, it's pretty much on that time factor there. But the problem is, like I just mentioned before, this top here has been broken. So this wave two here, well, it's been broken. So we can't look at this as like 1, 2, 3, 4 and a fifth wave down anymore. It might be like 1, 2, 3 or an ABC, a correction, and then you get more downside. A more complex correction, but yeah, I would be leaving it alone. Um, you know. EG, we got the 5 up here, that leading. I was looking at that as a leading diagonal. We got the ABC, the larger correction, but then we started to run into this larger correction here. So we had the 5 down. That was fine. We got a nice impulse up, but then we had this very deep correction. You know, this is still looking very much bullish. So I'd be still very much bullish on it, but it's already hit that 100 pip target for that A, B, C. And you can see it found resistance there. You got to be very careful with this now. You know, this is looking corrective here. Is it giving us a buy setup though? It's not the best. You know, I mean, this is quite choppy. You know, has gone and broken this top, so that's nice. But then we've got this coming straight down here. So it's going to be difficult. There's really not much I can say about it at this stage. It's more, I really got to see more price action to see, well, you know, it may give you a correction here for a scalp sell. And if this one here doesn't go and break that low, well, it's more bullish just for an A, B, C, and then you get A, B, C. And all this turns like quite complex. So you're trading in a correction. So you know, that's where most people, well, retail traders lose their money trading in corrections. So, you know, if you're not sure about it, you just leave it alone. You know, it's better to be out of something and not lose any money than it is to get it wrong and lose money. So the idea of trading is to preserve your capital, you know, and grow it, not to take risky trades. WTI, we got this nice impulse up. You know, it's playing out on the lower time frame here. You know, it's pretty much looking how I've been looking at it for a long time. You know, I was looking at this A, a B, and we get a C down in here, possibly down to that 100 fib. I'd really like to see this low here broken, because then after this low here is broken, you know, we can start to look for buys if it gives us buy setups, or we can look for a buy. But until that happens, it's very risky because that's the high there. And this is like 3 up. So that looking at it as a B wave, as I've had it for a long time. But we're getting this C down. Really can't really do much until that low is broken. Then we can start to look for buys. You know, there was the sell over here. That was our sell. We had that nice impulse down from the top. We got the correction up to the 50 pip there, and it's already gone. Excuse me. So there's really not much you can do now. I mean, you could have scalped this. That was looking quite nice to sell. But yeah, there's really not much. We got bullish divergence there. There's really not much to do. I mean, yeah, there's really not much on it. There's no buy, and if anything, I'd be looking for a sell. Like if we go down to the M15, like we're on now, you know, we got like 1, 2, 3. We get a wave 4. More than likely, we'll get a bear hidden in here, and you get another one down. If we got that 5 down there, and then a nice impulse up, a bullish setup, well, then we could, you know, start scalping for 3 up. So it's more scalping. You could look for a wave 5 down here, and you know, trade a wave C up here if you know, if that's what the price action does. But yeah, you know, there's really not much on it. It's just scalping till that low is broken. We get that C down. Gold, we got the 5 up. We're looking at this in here. There's that 2 scenarios that I put up weeks ago now. You know, we either go up and break the top, which is very unlikely the way this is, you know, it's very choppy here. You know, I'm looking for downside. I'm looking for that, like, we got this A, B, C here. So I'm looking for this A, B. We're getting this C up now. and then I'd be looking for this larger A, B, C. So yeah, the trade for the buy was back here, but it come back take you out. That's what it did to me. So there was no loss, but as you can see, it's very corrective, and there is no sell setup. This is looking very choppy, so it's corrective. Um, uh, so we need a nice impulse down and a bearish setup, and then we can trade a sell to go and break the low. Until that happens, I wouldn't be buying into this. Crazy to be buying into this. It's so corrective. There's a lot of bearish divergence. So, you just stay out of stuff like this. This is where people lose their money. They go down onto the lower time frames, and they're going with this trend, but the trend ends. You know. Silver very similar to gold. It's very, very similar, very similar pattern and all that. We're looking for this one up in here. It's very corrective looking, very similar to gold. So again, I'd only be looking for a sell, but there is no sell setups. There is nothing there. So it's starting to break out of this rising wedge, but I mean, it's been giving us three down, another high. It's getting all that bearish divergence. It starts to get very risky. So ideally for me, for me to trade, I need a nice impulse down, nice correction, a sell setup, and then I'd look for a sell. I'm more interested in a sell than scalping buys, more risky buys at that. Bitcoin, we got the 5 up, we got the larger correction. This here, been looking at it as corrective. It's very similar to this here. This is very corrective too. I mean, we were looking for this and that, but I'm still looking at this as very corrective. You can go down to the lower time frame, and you can see that it looks corrective. There's a lot of it's very choppy, so very difficult to buy into this. I mean, there has been buys on it, but in this correction, it's more scalping though. There's nothing, because I'm looking for more downside. I'm looking for this low to be broken. There is no sell setup, so really, I'd be staying out of it now until we get a sell setup. We are getting bearish divergence on the H1 as well, but again, for the sell, I'd need a nice impulse down, breaking these lows here, and then giving us a correction and a sell setup to sell for at least three down, and ideally it goes and breaks that low. S&P 500. We've been looking at this. This is still in the wave 5. Excuse me. If I quickly go to the W1, we're still in that wave 5. We got that like 1, 2, 3, 4. We got the fifth wave up to the second target, that 161.8. It's still in this wave 5. On the lower time frames, it's just a larger correction, and we were looking at this, as a scenario. This here, we got a very choppy wave breaking the top, and this here was very choppy as well. And we're looking at that flat. So this has gone up and broken the top. There's nothing you can do now. There's been opportunities to get in this. There's been quite a few, but there's nothing you can do now. This, excuse me, we really need a correction. Excuse me, really need a larger correction here. We got a nice impulse up, but until we get this correction, there's nothing you can really do. You got to be patient and wait for a correction and then jump in, and not just jump in up the top of the market. So there's not much you can do here. There was these corrections where you could get in. But now we're getting bearish divergence on the H1 too now, so there's really not much you can do here. AU 200. So we had that that should be over here. So had me pulled there for a tick, but yeah, we got an A, we got a B wave, and we're looking for that C up. And this here, this was very choppy here, breaking the top. So we got that C down, expanding flat, and we're looking for that C up. So yeah, you could actually buy this, for a wave 5 up here, but it's probably gone a little bit far now. It's not ideal. Like 1, 2, 3, wave 4, trade away 5 up. It didn't give a bull hidden or anything here, so it's quite risky. And it's already gone up and broken this top by the look of it. So, I'd be leaving it alone at this stage. You may get a buy set up on the lower time frames, but you'd be looking at them 15 sort of thing, A nice impulse up in here. If you got a nice correction, you could look for a scalp to buy, break the top. The FTSE, again, there's really not much to do here either. I mean, this is very similar to AU 200. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and trade a 5th wave up. Yeah. Lastly, the DAX. This is well, we've been looking at this more on the lower time frames. Like this one already played out with that A, B, C. It had a sell in there, and it still can give us another lower low here. Like if you've been following me, you'd remember looking for 1, 2, 3. We get a wave 4 and a wave 5 down here. I've got that arrow, the time factor. Well, that time factor is just about complete now. There's not much left in it. But we definitely won't be getting a wave 5 down if that top there's broken. So you got to be careful here. I'd be scalping one of the other indices rather than this one at this point. We're getting bearish divergence on this one. There is no sell set up on it yet, so I'd be more interested in it. If we got a nice impulse down, well, this would be the one to sell. This would be the index to sell for a wave 5 down rather than trade the other indices. But if you're looking for buys, I'd be looking at possibly trading one of the other indices. So, yeah. Hope that made sense, and I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, please hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.